help lead this transition. We'll be announcing more members of our transition team in the coming day and in the coming week. But now, it's time to come together and to get to work. There is so much that Jacqueline and I ran on. Challenges that are facing our families, from public education to pensions to health care to jobs. And to truly make that positive difference for our families, we have got to move, and we have got to move quickly. Our budget, which will come out in January, will reflect the priorities of public education, health care, and rebuilding our infrastructure. So this isn't about politics anymore. That ended last night. This is about being the best governor that I can be for the people of Kentucky. And it's about changing the tone that we have heard in Frankfort for the last 4 years. About coming together to make sure that we can work on the things that we agree on and that we can still talk to each other civilly on the things that we disagree on. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Michael Brown.
Governor. Well, first of all, it really is one of the great honors of my life to be offered an opportunity to continue serving my country, my state, and have the confidence of Governor-elect Andy Beshear. You know, I never really intended to get into public service. I got a phone call Saturday after Thanksgiving, I don't know, 12 years ago, from another Beshear who said, I want you to make a big sacrifice, but just for a little while. And it just kind of kept going and going and going, but the more I got involved in it, the more I learned to appreciate what it means to come back and to be able to give what acumen I might have in the service of others. This is it's not routine, but it's expected. I come from a background, as you can see, we're used to changes of command. Our government, our whole system is based on changes of authority, and what distinguishes us is that it's peaceful and it's smooth. And really what will make it so smooth in our Commonwealth is people like you see standing behind me. These are the lifelong public servants who are there no matter who gets the opportunity and the privilege to hold supervisory positions. There's 30,000 of them out there, and all we are going to do now is commit them that we will organize and make the best we can to put people in place so they continue the mission of serving the people. It's really that simple.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Mike. All right. So today is day one of the transition. Over the next couple days, you'll hear some more announcements. They will primarily come from Michael because I'm going to spend a little time with my kids. They deserve to see their dad a little bit more than they have the last couple weeks. But we're excited. We're excited about where we're going to take this state. We're excited about having the first active educator since Martha Lane Collins who's going to serve as Lieutenant Governor. But I'm also excited to make sure that we can bring Kentuckians together, that we can be civil to each other again, and that there's so much that we can do together. So I'm happy to take your questions.
Mr. Beshear, have you spoken with Matt Bevin yet?
I have not.
And also, can you tell us what you think the national implications of this race is? He's talking all over the news about what this means for Democrats. What does it mean for Democrats, according to you?
Well, I'm not one of the pundits, but thankfully I'm now the governor-elect of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I believe that this race is about our families wanting someone that cares about them, that reflects their values, and that is focused on those issues that they are anxious about at the end of the day. And those are public education, pensions, health care, and jobs. I'm not worried about what national pundits or national Democrats are saying. I'm worried about our families here in Kentucky and making sure I do a good job for them.
The question is, if the numbers hold up the way they were, you talk about uniting Kentucky, you will have gotten just less than 50% of the vote. How do you unite Kentucky, knowing how divided the state has been over the last few years? And will you appoint Republicans to cabinet positions?
Well, there's about 3 questions in there.
I try to be effective.
Yeah. No, we're going to start bringing Kentucky together by changing the tone. No more us versus them. No more this side or that side. And this is about focusing on those core issues: public education, pensions, health care, and jobs that are good for every single Kentucky family. I mean, just imagine having a state where we have unity of purpose, where we can all work on those areas that are good for every single family. And yes, you're going to see Republicans in our cabinet. You're going to see independents in our cabinet. All I'm going to look for are the best people who will do the best job.
Do you have any comment on Governor Bevin not conceding the election so far? He said he's cited irregularities. We haven't heard anything more about it.
Well, I don't know what information he's working off of. I know that, about 5,000 votes, and terribly close, 80-something votes was that primary 4 years ago. We're confident in the outcome of the election, but today is about moving forward. The election is over. No one else is going to cast a vote. It ended last night, and we're going to make sure that we make this transition as smooth as we can, because the people of this Commonwealth have needs, and they need their next governor to be ready and to be addressing those needs immediately. I'm done with running for office. It's now time to govern.
What does this outcome say about the president's effectiveness as a campaigner?
I'm going to let national pundits talk about that one too. I think what I know is that we saw our families come out and say they wanted a governor that is focused on Kentucky, on those core issues of public education and also of decency and of living out our values of respecting each other. Living by that golden rule where we treat all of our neighbors with respect, and we realize that we are all each other's neighbors. Even people of another political party and even people who disagree with you. In Kentucky, we still expect our leaders and everyone else to be civil with each other. I believe this race was about those areas where, in Kentucky, we need to do so much better.
You've emphasized multiple times now that the election is over. Who is that message for, and what are you worried about?
Well, I'm here today to announce a transition. And we can only have a transition because the election is over. But we are excited to move into this governance stage because we believe that we can put together a leadership team, not just for a transition, but for a cabinet that can serve all Kentuckians. And that's Eastern, Western, Northern, and Central Kentucky, that we can be a group that truly governs for all of our families.
If there are lingering questions about the election, how disruptive would that be to your transition?
No, we're going to move forward. Whatever process that the governor chooses to go down, it's not going to change this overall number of votes. We are going to take the steps to move forward to make sure that we are ready. That we are ready on the day that we're inaugurated, that we are ready for that first session, that we are ready with that first budget, and that we are ready to take those steps that we have promised in week one that include rescinding that Medicaid waiver and saving health care for 95,000 Kentuckians, of giving this state a brand new Board of Education, and of restoring voting rights for more than 140 felons. That's what we're focused on.
General, you've also talked
Hey, John.
about Medicaid, health care a lot.
Yes.
Are you looking at reinstating Connect?
We're going to look at every option that is out there to make sure that we can provide affordable and accessible health care to our people. That is both making sure that we have a robust, expanded Medicaid program, but it's also about reducing the price of pharmaceuticals. I've been aggressive as Attorney General. I'm going to use every bit of leverage as governor to reduce prices, not just for our state plan and for Medicaid, but for all of our consumers across Kentucky. And we are going to focus on insulin as one of our first steps.
Governor-elect,
Yes,
you are a Democrat.
I like the sound of that.
You, your family, you guys are longtime members of the Democratic Party. There is a presidential election next year. Is there a takeaway, though, that you would like other Democrats across the country to take away from not only your campaign, but also your win?
Well, I would hope my takeaway is for people running for office, either as Democrats, Republicans, or independents, and that you're running to serve the people of your state. And so your campaign should be the issues that impact your state, what you want to do as governor for those families. I love this Commonwealth. I believe that our people have so much potential. And my role as governor is to help unlock that potential, to help us be the very best state we can be. to create six-figure jobs across the Commonwealth, to make sure that everybody can take their parents or their kids to see a doctor when they're sick, to make sure that everyone lives that life that they deserve to here in the Commonwealth.
How do you manage-
You talked about your budget. You have to work with supermajorities in the House and the Senate. Can you forge alliances, done what you want to get done?
Oh, I believe that we will absolutely be able to forge those alliances. And it's about working with people on the issues that you agree on. And yes, you may fight on the issues that you don't. But understanding that there's always that next issue that's out there that you're going to have to come back together and work on. We can disagree without being disagreeable. And part of that is changing the tone, which is what we're doing here today. It's not constantly going after each other. You know, the politics part of this is over. You know, it's time for governance, and that's a tone where we respect everyone, regardless of what party they're in.
Can you move on as you want to do and begin without Governor Bevin acknowledging what happened last night?
Well, I think we're moving on with our transition today.
Have you or has your campaign heard about these irregularities that the governor is referencing?
No.
Who were you going to appoint as Attorney General for the last month or so of what would be your term?
Well, I've reached out and left a message with Daniel Cameron. I'm going to talk to him about that issue. You know, he won that election. I want to make sure that I get his thoughts. That's, again, part of, you know, changing the tone where we can all work together. And I want to make sure he has some input in that.
Would you like to see Daniel Cameron take over as AG early as a position?
Well, we'll have to do all those possibilities. A lot of time since last night to think about that, but Daniel and I are going to talk about that before I talk about it publicly.
Jacqueline, how are you going to handle your role as an educator and becoming lieutenant governor? I don't know exactly how.
Well.
But are you going to be leaving the school to go to Frankfurt?
Yes, sir. I've been on a leave of absence during the campaign, and so I will officially end that leave of absence and join, obviously, the administration, make it official.
Mixed feelings in doing so?
Yeah, you know, those kids that we work with every day mean so much to us, and being able to have an impact at the ground level with our families and our communities means a lot to me, and that's going to be hard. But I do look forward to the opportunity to be able to have an impact for all Kentucky kids across this Commonwealth, working with some pretty great partners standing here behind me. So, yeah.
Joe, were you up 15 to 20 percentage points over Monday morning?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of polls that were out there, Jack. I'm not sure I saw that one.
The president says he narrowed the gap.
You know, I don't know what information other people had on hand, but, you know, the election ended last night. Today, we are moving past politics into governance, being focused on public education, pensions, health care, and jobs, and changing the tone so that we can be an administration that serves every family.
Back to politics. What is your outcome about McConnell-McGrath in 2020?
Well, I think that the national pundits will talk about that. I just hope it means that every election that we see in Kentucky focuses on the critical needs of our families. Think, if we had an election where the entire time was a discussion of how we could better help our families out there, I think that could help Kentucky. That could help politics too.
Maybe
Can
talking to
you
Robert
talk a little
Stivers?
bit about the closeness of the race? Will that make it difficult to build those relationships across the aisle?
Well, it's the closest I've run.
Well, let's just talk about this.
No, I believe that you know now that the election is over, that it gives me an opportunity to prove myself to every single Kentuckian out there, whether they voted for me or not. Because regardless of how they voted, I'm going to serve as their governor, and regardless of how they voted, I'm going to try to be a good governor for them. You know, I've known a few governors. I didn't just want to be one. I want to govern well. And I believe governing well is governing for every single family. And if anyone still has lingering feelings from last night, I'd say just wait and watch how we do. Watch how we approach this. Watch how we work really hard every single day.
Logistically, how long can this process take now? I mean, if the governor doesn't concede, how long can he drag this thing out before Kentucky knows who is the governor next?
Well, there's got to be a swearing in early December, but this race, this outcome isn't going to change. What now we are moving forward to make sure that we have that type of smooth transition to where we can serve our people that very next day. And I believe that Governor Bevin, after deciding whatever his options are or what he's going to do, will help in that transition. We have seen it from governors of all different parties, and I believe that he's going to do the right thing and make sure that we are ready to go on day one.
Have you spoken to any Republican legislators since you declared victory last night?
I've left a number of messages, especially for those that are in leadership. I've also called and left messages to congratulate each of the winners on the down ticket. I've received a couple messages back from Mike Harmon and Michael Adams.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.